This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.
Hello everyone. For those of you who watched our forum last night, I hope you learned something. And thank you for tuning back into the LCTV News. It's a bit of a mixed bag this week, as stories range from ecological updates to local politics to community gatherings. While the Lowdown has public health covered, as the Public Health Department were our guests. So let's jump right in with the news for Friday, October 17th, 2025. At a special meeting on October 16th, the Lynn School Committee unanimously voted to appoint Molly Cohen as Interim Superintendent of Schools. Cohen has served as Deputy Superintendent since 2022. Her appointment is immediate and runs through June of 2027. She replaces Dr. Yvonne Alvarez, who announced her resignation last week. Cohen is a 20-year veteran of Lynn Public Schools, where she has also served as a teacher, counselor, assistant principal, and executive director of curriculum and instruction. Before becoming deputy superintendent, she served as a principal of Thurgood Marshall Middle School from 2015 to 2022. In addition to her extensive experience, Cohen is also proficient in Spanish, holds master's degrees from Simmons University and Salem State University, and is in the final year of a doctoral program at UMass Lowell. As stated by Cohen, quote, "Lynn is a very special place. I've absolutely loved the 20 years that I've spent here and continue to spend here, dedicated to all of you. I'm so thankful for the trust you are instilling in me and fully prepared to lead with equity, excellence, and purpose, grounded in our district strategic plan and core values," end quote. Water quality issues at Kings Beach are not new, with some dating back to 1891. And until last year, it was the second most polluted beach in the state. But there may be hope for a solution. According to a new report from Kleinfelder, the use of ultraviolet disinfection technology was successful at Stacy's Brook and in opening Kings Beach for swimming in Lynn and Swampscott this summer. Mayor Nicholson's office released the report and corresponding press release on October 10th. One of the most telling pieces of data in their most recent report was the number of existence from the Mass Department of Public Health threshold for bacteria at Ocean Beaches, which is 104 colony-forming units per 100 milliliters of water. However, during the study from June 20th to August 17th, the outfall only exceeded this number on 8 days, compared to 33 in 2024 and 43 in 2023. The data was obtained by collecting daily water samples at 4 locations on Kings Beach, 3 in Lynn and 1 in Swampscott. The report also noted that increased turbidity during wet water events did negatively affect the efficiency of UV disinfection. The UV pilot program was conducted in conjunction with ongoing multi-million-dollar projects in both communities. Lynn has been working on identifying and correcting any remaining sewer-to-storm drain connections, while Swampscott is halfway through a 2-stage project to restore old, cracked drainage pipes. In honor of spooky season, we are bringing back a short film created by our 2023-24 co-op students, Pawn Red. Do you think you would fare better than our staff in a zombie apocalypse?
Come on, Paul. Paul, I'm gonna be back. I have to go get some food. What happened to you? I got food, bro. Don't worry about what happened.
Breaking news, the zombies have found the bombs that were made to exterminate everyone during WZ3. Brace for impact. I'm Dani, signing off for good.
You know, I'm so sorry. I couldn't protect you the day you got bitten.
It's okay.
Zombies best friends forever.
Zombie best friends forever.
Let's go to the beach, let's go get on. They what they gonna say?
Don't be
Have a drink,
scared.
breathe. Okay, I'm on.
Come on, Paul, let's go.
I love two turns, go give me more.
Mass DOT announced the indefinite closure of Belden Bly Bridge, formerly known as Fox Hill Bridge. On October 15th, the state issued a press release announcing extended detours on the bridge carrying Route 107 over the Saugus River in Lynn and Saugus. Findings from the most recent inspection required the closing of the bridge until further notice. The drawbridge will remain operational, and sidewalks will remain open for pedestrians and bicyclists during the closure. Northbound traffic on Route 107 will be redirected onto the following route: Ballard Street to Lincoln Ave, Boston Street to Summer Street, then back to Western Ave. Southbound traffic will follow the same detour in the opposite direction. Signage and law enforcement details will be present to direct traffic, but drivers should still expect delays. Back in 2023, several local artists were chosen to decorate electrical boxes. Every artist drew inspiration from their lineage, covering countries from the Netherlands to Zimbabwe. And what a fitting moment to bring back this film, showing how we are all immigrants.
The Lynn Public Arts Commission had put out a proposal for artists to create boxes based on cultural fabrics that they found important to them. And they wanted to be representative of like the different sort of cultural groups that you would find, in Lynn.
One of my goals is to try and beautify the city any which way I can, and my biggest strengths are in art.
My box is called Celtic Nations. I'm originally from France, and the region that I'm from is Brittany, and it's the Celtic nations. Our heritage, arts, music, our culture is very strong. So I wanted something about the Six Nations because some of them are well known, some other are not.
My proposal was based on Dutch fabrics. My father's from the Netherlands. A lot of what they brought were handmade tapestries and just different fabric pieces. And so I have a lot of memories of cross-stitch and my Oma making cross-stitch.
The main picture, which shows High Rock Tower, which for me is the symbol of Lynn, and I put it in a treasure chest with gold coins around it to show that Lynn is precious. And then the other part, I grabbed designs from African materials, specifically from Zimbabwe. You know, in the city of Lynn, there's very little representing the continent of Africa, and this changes that.
Basically, it's two symbols in the front, and it symbolizes a connection between earth, water, and air, and the 6 flags on the side and the map on the back.
The utility box was going to be here no matter what, and so being able to have something maybe a little bit nicer to look at than just a shiny metal box or a gray painted box, you know, hopefully brings somebody some joy.
When people walk by, they actually notice it and they look at it. Prior to that, they just go on by.
I think it's beautiful for people to discover that this would be unnoticed, and I've seen people passing by, and it's going to make people stop and think and ask themselves questions.
It's allowing access to everybody to have, you know, beautiful pieces within their city, and I think it does create a lot of pride in people in their city.
People are really happy, and they feel a connection to the box, and they constantly tell me, thank you for doing this, thank you for making this spot and this box more beautiful.
So art is so important. The way I look at life for me is in black and white. It's the color that actually make life worth living. So there are certain things that are needed to make life possible, you know, food, air, etc. But once you get all of that, it's the art and the culture that brings the color and makes life worth living.
The community is welcome to visit any of the boxes listed below to see other pieces of art, part of the Public Art Commission's Fabric of the Community series.
The Stephen Phillips Memorial Scholarship Fund is proud to announce an expansion of the Gordon Hall III Family Foundation Scholarship Program beginning in the 2026-27 school year. Launched in 2022 through a gift from Gordon and Taffy Knowlton Hall to support students in Lynn and Marblehead, the program will soon see its first group of college graduates. Now, thanks to a legacy gift from Gordon Hall III, dedicated specifically to Lynn, the program will award approximately $500,000 annually. Gordon passed away in 2022, leaving behind a legacy of service through his work with charitable organizations throughout the North Shore and New England. On October 15th, Congressman Seth Moulton officially launched his campaign to challenge Senator Ed Markey in the Democratic Senate primary. In his announcement, Moulton said he wants, quote, Massachusetts to lead the nation in big, forward-thinking, progressive solutions that make life better for working people, end quote. In particular, he focused on the issues of affordability, health care, climate change, and banning assault weapons. Moulton served 4 combat tours as a Marine infantry officer before beating incumbent John Tierney for his seat in Congress. Now, Moulton is looking ahead by citing what he has already accomplished in his political career, including the passage of his bipartisan 988 suicide and crisis hotlines, and authorship of a high-speed rail plan. Congressman Moulton concluded his announcement by saying, quote, Senator Markey is a good man, but it's time for a new generation of leadership, end quote. Lynn English continues to run over their opponents, quite literally in football. The Bulldogs were victorious in a 46-30 shootout with Malden the night of the 9th. Opponents have had no answer for Shane Knowlton-Samard, who registered 4 touchdowns in the game, 2 passing and 2 rushing. English had a slight 24-22 lead by halftime, but the second half was all Xavier Beauchamp. The running back scored 2 touchdowns and rushed for 112 total yards. While the Tigers had a successful senior night, shutting out Lowell Catholic 35-0. The Tigers' run game was on fire, as Colin McGow and Jacob Garcia rushed for scores to give the hosts a 13-0 lead. The second half was much of the same, as Garcia added another score along with 2 other Tech players. A stifling defense was the other key to the game, as the Tigers recorded several sacks for losses and a fumble recovery. A 35-8 final over Bishop Stang broke St. Mary's 3-game skid and brought them back to 500 on the year. The Spartans came out of the gate swinging, scoring 21 of their points in the first quarter alone. Roman Merriweather led the offense with 3 touchdowns. It was a good week overall for Lynn football, as the Classical Rams were also victors 26-22 over Tech Boston Academy last Saturday. Dylan Hahn was everywhere, punching in 3 rushing scores, including one from 70 yards out. While St. Mary's girls soccer clinched a playoff berth following a 3-1 victory against Bishop Stang. Making it even more special, Sophie Skabakis broke another school record, recording her 159th point as a Spartan, with 2 goals and an assist. While Classical went on the road and came home with a 1-1 tie, Mia Duncan recorded an unassisted goal for the Rams' only score. In contrast, the boys Spartans pulled out a 2-1 road win over Cardinal Spellman on the 14th. With this win, they moved to 6-4-2 on the season. But the Classical boys are officially out of playoff contention, following a 3-1 loss to Everett on the 16th. Volleyball pitted Classical versus English, but this one was all Rams. Classical took care of English in straight sets. The Rams combined for 9 aces and were led by Emma Cavalier with 27 assists, 7 digs, 2 kills, and 5 of those aces. And Classical followed this with a 3-0 victory over Chelsea on the 15th. With its 12th win in the Greater Boston League, the Rams have clinched at least a share of the GBL title. Freshman Karen Diaz got in on the action with 7 kills and 3 digs. At 12-3, Lynn Tech continues to show that they mean business. Most recently, the Tigers traveled to Lowell Catholic and came home with a 3-0 shutout victory. Sahara Belazar again led with 25 assists, 10 digs, 2 aces, and 2 kills. It's a bit more of a fight for St. Mary's, who pulled out a 3-2 win over Bishop Stang in 5 sets. After losing the first set, the Spartans fought all the way back to win. Sky Watson recorded 15 kills, 16 digs, and 8 service points for the visitors. 3 weeks, 3 victories for the Patriots. At 4-2, they have now won as many games as they did all of last year, and it's only week 7. It was a battle against the New Orleans Saints, but New England entered enemy territory and emerged victorious 25-19. Drake May was on point again, throwing for 268 yards and 2 scores. Overall, the offense had 369 total yards and went 4 for 5 on 4th down conversions. But it was the defense who stepped up big. After allowing 14 points in the first quarter, the New England defenders only allowed 7 more points for the rest of the game. The Patriots continue their road trip with a visit to the Tennessee Titans this Sunday. The City of Lynn's Public Health Department was back on the lowdown, this time giving tips on mosquito bites and disease prevention. Even in cooler weather, there are still steps residents can take to keep themselves and their families safe.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we welcome back on the Lynn Public Health Department to speak about another department. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having us.
Great, so would you mind just quickly introducing yourselves for the audience, let them know who you are?
Lisa Tobin, Public Health Director for the City of Lynn.
And Erini Kamarinos, Epidemiologist.
So today we're here to talk about it's West Nile virus, mosquitoes. I swear we will get you on for a topic that's not pests one of these days. We'll get there.
Whatever the public needs, Dani, whatever the public needs.
Well, I appreciate it. So I will admit I had to Google a couple of the words you used, so we may just go over them real quick for the audience. Mm-hmm. But you're talking about I don't know how to say this.
Arbovirus.
Thank you. What is that?
Oh, I will go. So it's a virus that is transmitted by the bite of a mosquito usually. And one of the examples is West Nile.
Okay, so it's the fancy scientific way of saying disease transmitted through infected mosquitoes, as far as other things. So on this specifically, it is about the West Nile virus, and why is that what you've chosen to specifically focus on?
Well, in September, we generally find that that's when any cases of West Nile virus may occur. We were recently notified by Mass Department of Public Health that we did have one positive mosquito sampled with West Nile virus for the 2025 season, as well as last year. And as a result of that, our requirements are to notify the public. And Erini takes care of the disease surveillance through the Arbovirus dashboard and our notifications.
So you're mentioning you coordinate with the state. That's how it works. They do some of the testing, report back to you, and so you have access to a whole database.
Correct, yes. So once we get the notification from the State Department of Public Health, we initiate a response, which includes a press release. And also the public has access to that dashboard for EEE and West Nile virus. You can filter it by city and county, and we have those resources linked on our webpage.
Oh, wow. So that's good to know that the public has access to it as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And you figure it's one mosquito out of thousands, but there's the one, so you got to do it.
And one of the things I think that worries people is when you look at those dashboards, it will say Lynn's risk is moderate. And it's moderate out of low, moderate, high, or critical.
Okay,
so it's a little bit more nuanced than just hearing the word moderate, and we don't even have any human cases. We just have one mosquito. So yeah.
Oh, so you answered my question. Say, was there any reported in humans? Right. So no.
But seeing as we are a community with a lot of bodies of water and Lynn Woods, it's important to make sure that people know that we have at least that one mosquito that was tested positive, and to be sure that the public knows what to do to prepare. And it's the same thing we all know. Insect repellent, long sleeves. Be mindful when you're out after dusk. When the mosquitoes tend to be out, get rid of any standing water. Don't leave the kiddie pool just sitting out there full.
Repairing screens in homes.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
that's it too.
Yeah, so they don't fly in.
Yeah, so if you're inside, they don't get in.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a little different for us because we are, like you said, we're on the water, so sometimes we can get a little bit more of that breeze, but they're definitely still out there. You can definitely tell. That's always our mark, is if we're going to eat dinner outside. Are they out there?
Yes.
At dusk, no.
Yeah. And we do have a lot of green space in Lynn. We have a lot of park space. We have the woods. We have the ponds. We have the cemetery. So it is something that we should be mindful of. Essex County in itself is low. There are 5 communities within Essex County that have been moved to moderate, and most of them are because of one sample.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was one of my questions too, is how do you notify people without making them, panic at all? Yeah, basically without making people think, oh, this is, it's something they're aware of, but it's not, like you said, it's not critical.
Yes. So we definitely want to highlight the press release that we update on based on what we have in Lynn, so the cases in Lynn.
Yeah.
We upload that on our social media pages, our website. We try to promulgate it to the appropriate parties within the city, animal control officer, inspectional services. We want to make everyone aware and to follow these tips. And then, of course, if we had human cases, it would escalate the response. But as of right now, it's just the one positive mosquito sample.
We really want to encourage people to go to our website because we do try to make a lot of information, on-time, real-time information available to the public. We have the Arbovirus dashboard that you can click on any day to see if that's changed. If you're going out to Western Mass and you want to see what's going on in Western Mass, you can pick Western Mass. You can pick any community in all of Massachusetts and see what's going on. And that's under our summer resources, where we also have things like sunscreen and what's the air quality today. So we try to make sure that we notify people, but that they have access to getting information even when we're not available in the office. So we put all that stuff out there for folks.
Access 24/7 if they ever need it, if they ever want it. It's really the transparency of it, right?
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I'll ask the epidemiologist. West Nile virus, you hear about it, but what is it? Could you explain it a little bit, kind of what can happen if a human were to get it?
So the degree of how people are affected varies. So some people experience mild symptoms, some people experience more severe symptoms. a lot of people describe it as flu-like symptoms.
Okay.
And then, of course, a lab result will confirm it. And then we, as the FBI, call to follow up with the provider and then the patient to see where the person may have been infected. It's not always easy to pinpoint the exact source because people tend to travel, especially during the summer months.
Right, yeah.
But we do our best for surveillance and to follow up as thoroughly as possible.
Is that one of those cases where people who are older could potentially be at higher risk? Is this one of those diseases that follows that pattern or not really?
Potentially, yes. With age, a lot of times viruses are exacerbated.
Yeah.
But overall, the recommendations are to follow the tips. Of course, it's not easy to wear long sleeves in the summer, but that's just one of the many tips that we recommend through the Department of Public Health on the state level.
Yeah, and Mass DPH, their notifications that 80% of the people who actually are diagnosed with West Nile virus have no symptoms.
Right.
And
wow.
and 20% have, anywhere from fever, headache, body aches, nausea, vomiting, swollen lymph glands. So, I don't know how many times you've been bit by a mosquito, and maybe you feel good, maybe you don't. But to Erini's point, if you are someone who is immunocompromised, if you're someone with other health conditions, and you are bit by a positive mosquito, you could be of the 20% who get the symptoms.
Right.
But
Yeah.
So I wanted to check with the experts on that one. I know that can be a common thing, but I wanted to make sure. And is that you were mentioning all the tips that people can do. Another thing is if they have any standing water. You mentioned there's standing water in Lynn just in general because we have ponds, but if there's any in people's backyards to get rid of it because that is where mosquitoes breed.
yeah, one of the things that we find tends to be an issue are tires. People keep tires out in their yard. The water collects in the rim of the tires, and it's a great breeding ground for mosquitoes. So making sure that if you do happen to have tires out, you're emptying them of water, you're getting them away from the rain and stuff like that is really important.
I had not thought of that one. I was thinking more if you had little, basins or something.
Yep.
I did not think
Yep.
of tires.
That
That's
too.
good to know.
Yeah.
Maybe some lawn toys. I know sometimes people have for their kids water tables
Yep.
in small pools, so that's also another source. Yeah.
So, say prevention, keeping yourself safe is a big thing you want to tell the public.
Absolutely.
And they're simple.
Yeah, and I feel like most people, they don't want mosquito bites even if it has West Nile or not, right?
Right.
So you kind of know what to do to prevent the mosquito bites to start with. And you can wear repellent so you won't get bit, but you should also do the things that prevent the mosquitoes from being there in the first place,
Right.
which is removing the standing water, repairing your screens. Yep.
And you're saying, and there was one positive mosquito this year, and there was one positive last year?
Yes.
No human cases?
No
That's
human
correct?
cases, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wanted to just
Yeah.
double check the
Yeah.
stats on that.
Yeah, West Nile virus, you hear it and you think, oh my gosh. And there's a release from the public health department about it, and you feel like it's something that you should be concerned about.
Yeah.
Not saying you shouldn't be concerned, but we try, again, very strongly to make sure that people understand exactly what is happening, being transparent, putting that dashboard so people can look for themselves, feel like they understand it.
Because having the understanding and the information it's vital to
Right.
having the reaction, right?
Right.
It's key. It's key.
And you said they can just access it on your website. Is it a specific page or anything? You just go to the...
So if you go to the City of Lynn's website and you go to city government, you will pick public health, and we have a resources tab and then a summer resources tab.
Oh.
There's a lot of
Simple.
information on that page.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've looked at it before. It's very
Yes.
impressive. It's very informative.
Thank you.
It's simple to understand too. Like people can figure it out. Go on and look at it. And as for mosquitoes, how long do they typically stay around? Because as we get into the cooler months, they may start to not be around.
September is peak month for mosquitoes, and then as you said, the temperature drops. First frost and things like that. We usually tend to not see cases during the winter months.
Okay, so
First frost.
so fall is really is their ideal time. That's where they go.
Yeah.
Well, summer too, but
Yeah.
And the fall tends to be the time when people may be coming out of the house more because it's cooler out. You're opening your windows because your AC isn't on. So it's also a time that you will see more people may be bitten.
Yeah, right. That all makes
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we've gone over most of the points that I did, but was there anything else that you wanted to make sure people knew about, whether prevention information, anything like that?
I guess just being mindful, following the tips, We definitely don't want to hinder anyone's summer months and summer fun, but yeah, just being informed, keeping up to date with the dashboard, our website, things like that.
Yeah, I would just always encourage people to check out our website, come into our resource room, room 105 at Lynn City Hall. We always have resources and things available for people. We can print information up if people aren't comfortable navigating the website. So, we're always trying to give out the information to folks so that they have what they need.
You've always been very forward-facing. I see you literally all the time. So I want to thank you again for coming on to really talk about this, inform the public, and all of that.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It was a great time.
Of course, always. We'll see if we can get you on next time with something that isn't text. We'll see.
I'll find something juicy for you, yes.
But for now, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests.
Join My Brother's Table for their annual 3-mile walk on October 19th along the Swampscott-Lynn shoreline. The 2025 9 Million Meals Walk raises funds for My Brother's Table so they can continue serving free meals to all those who need them in the community. The walk begins and ends at the First Church, 40 Monument Ave in Swampscott. The walk begins at 2 p.m. with check-in beginning at 1:30. Interested parties can also register as individuals or a team in advance via the My Brother's Table website. Referring back to a previous headline, the City of Lynn and Town of Swampscott are hosting their second Kings Beach Town Hall from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday, October 22nd at Lynn City Hall. Panelists for the event include the Lynn Water and Sewer Commission, Lynn State Delegation, Kleinfelder, Apex Companies, and Save the Harbor, Save the Bay. Participants will receive updates on source elimination, a presentation of the summer's UV pilot program, next steps, and a Q&A session to conclude the evening. Next Friday, October 24th, families are invited to the Lynn Family Resource Center, We Rise, and True Mentorship Program for their annual community costume party. Head to Centerboard, 16 City Hall Square, from 3 to 5 p.m. for an afternoon of games, treats, and a safe place for kids to show off their costumes. Additionally, residents can connect with staff members and receive community resources. But that is our final treat as we have reached the end of this week's news. Events are light this week, but they are ramping up for the remainder of the month. So be sure to follow @Lynn Community Television to stay updated. LynnTV.org is your one-stop shop for the most complete community calendar in the city, election updates, and event coverage. And visit Lynn Community Television on YouTube for videos going all the way back to the beginning. I'm Dani Vittori, this is the LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.